BNB fans say Luna's still alive, here's why. The Bold and the Beautiful is the soap opera who cried wolf when it comes to Luna Nozowa. We lost count of how many times Lisa Yamada bid fans farewell and exited BNB, only to return from prison or the dead a few weeks later. It's no wonder Bold and Beautiful viewers are convinced Luna is still alive, and they are probably right. Here's what's coming up next on the CBS soap. Keep reading for all the details. BNB spoilers. Lisa Yamada's exit. Lisa Yamada has supposedly left the building, but the actress has toyed with fans so much that nobody is buying her exit. Yamada could tell her social media followers the sky is blue, and we'd still need a fact-checker. The actress enjoys playing up the storylines and keeping fans guessing about her character's fate. Next week, spoilers say Dylan will continue her apology tour and visit Dr. Finn, Tanner Novlin, and Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, on Thanksgiving. Hayes' art teacher will get emotional as she confesses to them that she's the driver that turned Finn's bio daughter into a pancake. BNB spoilers. Dylan's confession doubts. According to BNB spoilers, there will be some discrepancies in Dylan's story, and it won't be long before there are doubts about her confession. Rumors hint Dylan could have been paid off to confess or manipulated by Luna to help her fake her death. Regardless, the art teacher's confession is starting to look suspicious and is another reason fans think Luna might still be alive. It's also pretty convenient that Luna Nozowa told Will Spencer Jr., Crew Morrow, she lost the baby right before she died. There was no mention of a miscarriage until 10 minutes before she was hit by a car. If Luna wanted to fake her death, she would have to explain why her dead body didn't have a baby bump. Or is it a coincidence that she lost the baby right before a not pregnant body was found and identified as her? Do you think that Luna Nozowa is really dead? Or is Dylan's confession a little suspicious? The air inside the CEO's office at Forrester Creations was thick with the scent of expensive silk and unresolved grief. A year had passed since Luna, the bright, promising intern, had seemingly vanished from the world after a tragic, yet ambiguous, car accident on Mulholland Drive. Her car had plunged down an embankment, found totaled and burned. The body recovered, identified by dental records, had been laid to rest. Finn, Dr. John Finnegan, Luna's secret admirer and friend, still felt the absence like a phantom limb, particularly now, running the new FC charity division in her honor. "Look at this, Finn," Hope Logan said, her voice a low, excited whisper that belied the elegance of her hope for the future dress. She spun her laptop around, displaying a frantic thread on the BNB Deep Dive fan forum. The thread, titled "Luna is Alive, the Evidence," had exploded overnight, dominating social media and the tabloids. For months, it had been a niche theory, but yesterday one anonymous user, handle at Bridge for Life, posted something chillingly specific. "It's the scar," Hope breathed, pointing a manicured finger at the screen. Luna had that tiny, distinct star-shaped scar on her left ring finger from a sewing machine mishap. The fan claims the official police photo of the recovered body's hand, which was only shown for a split second on the news, did not have that scar. They zoomed, stabilized, and used AI enhancement. Finn, the meticulous physician, felt a cold surge of adrenaline. He remembered that scar. He'd sutured it himself after the incident. A 3-point intersection. Unique. Dental records were enough for identification. "Hope," he said, trying to maintain his professional calm. The fire damaged the body was badly burned. The hands would have been compromised. But this fan isn't wrong about the detail, Hope countered. Why even mention the hand in the evidence file if the dental records were conclusive? Why the ambiguity in the initial press release? The official statement never said Luna's body. It said a body matching Luna's immediate descriptive profile. "It's weak, Finn. It's too weak." Finn's mind raced back to the day of the accident. He had been the one to confirm the death on site, but only after the remains were processed by the coroner. He never saw the immediate remains, only the clinical report. The fan theory had planted a seed of doubt that professionalism could no longer uproot. Part 2. The cracks in the facade. The first piece of hard evidence came from the coroner's office itself. Finn, pulling strings he hadn't known he possessed, managed to get a look at the original high-resolution processing files, citing the need to close a case for the Charity Foundation's records. He sat in his secluded study, the light of the computer screen illuminating the truth. He found the photograph at Bridge for Life had referenced. It was a close-up of the victim's left hand, taken before the full fire damage assessment. The finger was intact, and the scar was missing, a different body. The dental records must have been switched. But why? He turned his focus to the accident itself. Luna's car had been run off the road, not simply lost control. He remembered the faint tire marks, heavy duty, unlike any sedan or sports car. A truck, he murmured, reviewing the blurred dashcam footage from a neighboring vehicle that had been dismissed as irrelevant. He saw a massive black shape, a high-end custom SUV, speeding away from the scene just as the crash occurred. The driver of the SUV was the key. He needed a list of all Spencer and Forrester family vehicles. The task was enormous, but he had an ally. He called Hope. Hope, I need you to cross-reference every vehicle owned by the Forrester and Spencer corporate accounts with custom black SUVs purchased or serviced in the last 2 years. Focus on anyone who might have wanted Luna silent. Silent about what? Hope asked, her voice sharp with apprehension. Luna was working on a secret project for the FC archives, researching the history of the company's earliest investors. It was a dusty, forgotten corner of the company. She mentioned finding something odd, a discrepancy in stock ownership from decades ago that could potentially reroute controlling shares. Hope gasped. The controlling interest in Forrester Creations, a power struggle that had defined their lives for generations. Someone faked her death to protect a power balance, she whispered. Part 3. The anonymous tip and the vault. Over the next 48 hours, the investigation was a blur of caffeine and clandestine meetings. Hope's research led to a single suspect, Thomas Forrester's custom-built Escalade, which had been serviced for mysterious bodywork damage 2 days after Luna's crash. Thomas, recently returned and desperately trying to prove his loyalty, had a motive. Luna's findings might have threatened his own family's already shaky control over the company. But the real shock came from the source. At Bridge for Life posted again, this time a single encrypted message to Finn's private hospital email, an account no one knew about. The body was a Jane Doe from a charity morgue, switched by Dr. Sterling, who benefits from a trust fund tied to one of the original FC investors. Luna is not dead. She is in Geneva. Check the Rose Gold Vault. The Rose Gold Vault. Finn knew exactly what it was. It wasn't a bank. It was an exclusive, high-security medical facility known for treating the ultra-rich with memory-related illnesses, usually hidden from public scrutiny. Finn booked the first flight. He didn't tell Hope, Ridge, or Brooke. He knew if this was a conspiracy to hide a threat to FC, bringing anyone in prematurely would endanger Luna. Landing in Geneva, the Rose Gold Vault was a fortress disguised as a spa, tucked deep in the Swiss Alps. He showed them his medical credentials and, after a tense standoff, was allowed to check the patient registry. Under a false name, Lorna Dubois, he found a patient admitted 1 year ago. Diagnosis: dissociative amnesia, post-trauma. He demanded to see the patient. When he was led into the sterile, sunlit room, Luna was sitting by a panoramic window, sketching in a notebook. She was thinner, paler, but unmistakably her. Her hair was longer, darker, but her eyes, deep and intelligent, were the same. She looked up, her brow furrowed. "I'm sorry," she said quietly, her voice sounding amused. "Do I know you?" Part 4. Here's why. Finn fought back the tears that threatened to ruin his composure. He approached her slowly, careful not to startle her. "My name is Finn," he said gently. "You don't remember me, but you know me. We worked together at Forrester Creations, and I know why you're here." He pulled out the only thing he knew might trigger a memory, a small, silver charm bracelet she always wore. It had been recovered from the crash site and returned to him. Luna stared at the charm, a tiny, detailed model of a vintage sewing machine. Her hand trembled as she reached out. Her fingers traced the metallic curves. She looked at her left ring finger. No scar. The star-shaped mark was on the other hand, the right one. The fan theory had been wrong about the hand, but right about the scar's existence and importance. The body had been the wrong gender, but the focus on the hand was the breakthrough. As she touched the charm, a floodgate broke. "The ledger," she whispered, clutching her head. "The black ledger. I saw it. It was hidden in Eric's old design desk in a false bottom. Here's why Luna was still alive and hiding." Luna explained that she had discovered the ledger detailing a massive stock fraud from the 1980s, orchestrated by a forgotten rival family. This family, the Hayes Richardsons, had been systematically buying up Forrester Creations stock using shell companies, intending a hostile takeover. The person who ran her off the road was Dr. Sterling, the medical director of the Hayes Richardson Foundation, who had been tasked with retrieving the ledger and neutralizing Luna. "Dr. Sterling didn't want me dead," Luna explained, tears finally falling. "He wanted me gone and silent. He injected me with a heavy sedative, faked the crash and the body swap, and then brought me here where the amnesia would be genuine and untraceable. He knew that the moment I walked out, I would be a material witness to corporate espionage and attempted murder. He told me it was my only way to survive, that they would kill my mother, my friends, everyone if the ledger became public. So I stayed, hiding even from myself, until the amnesia became real." Finn gripped her hands. "The threat is gone. Sterling has been tied to the Hayes Richardson conspiracy, and he is now under investigation. The fan theory saved you, Luna. It forced me to look the gaps in the story." Luna smiled, a genuine, heartbreakingly beautiful smile. "The fans always knew," she said. "They know the truth can never truly stay buried in this town." As Finn prepared to fly Luna back to Los Angeles, the weight of what this would mean settled upon him. The return of Luna meant the end of mourning, the revival of a great love, and most importantly, the dawn of the biggest corporate scandal in Forrester Creations history. The Black Ledger, which Luna had cleverly copied and sent to a secured cloud drive moments before the crash, was the key. Its contents would expose the Hayes Richardsons, potentially restructure the ownership of FC, and change the lives of every Forrester, Logan, and Spencer forever. The plane was taking off. Luna leaned her head against Finn's shoulder, finally safe. The shocking news was true, but the real story was just beginning. The dead had returned to claim her life, and with it the truth. And in Los Angeles, the fashion world was about to be burned by the heat of a scandal hotter than any runway light. Luna explained that she had discovered the ledger detailing a massive stock fraud from the 1980s, orchestrated by a forgotten rival family. This family, the Hayes Richardsons, had been systematically buying up Forrester Creations stock using shell companies, intending a hostile takeover. The person who ran her off the road was Dr. Sterling, the medical director of the Hayes Richardson Foundation, who had been tasked with retrieving the ledger and neutralizing Luna. "Dr. Sterling didn't want me dead," Luna explained, tears finally falling. "He wanted me gone and silent. He injected me with a heavy sedative, faked the crash and the body swap, and then brought me here where the amnesia would be genuine and untraceable. He knew that the moment I walked out, I would be a material witness to corporate espionage and attempted murder. He told me it was my only way to survive, that they would kill my mother, my friends, everyone if the ledger became public. So I stayed, hiding even from myself, until the amnesia became real." Finn gripped her hands. "The threat is gone. Sterling has been tied to the Hayes Richardson conspiracy, and he is now under investigation. The fan theory saved you, Luna. It forced me to look at the gaps in the story." Luna smiled, a genuine, heartbreakingly beautiful smile. "The fans always knew," she said. "They know the truth can never truly stay buried in this town." As Finn prepared to fly Luna back to Los Angeles, The weight of what this would mean settled upon him. The return of Luna meant the end of mourning, the revival of a great love, and, most importantly, the dawn of the biggest corporate scandal in Forrester Creations history. The Black Ledger, which Luna had cleverly copied and sent to a secured cloud drive moments before the crash, was the key. Its contents would expose the Hayes Richardsons, potentially restructure the ownership of FC, and change the lives of every Forrester, Logan, and Spencer forever. The plane was taking off. Luna leaned her head against Finn's shoulder, finally safe. The shocking news was true, but the real story was just beginning. The dead had returned to claim her life, and with it, the truth. And in Los Angeles, the fashion world was about to be burned by the heat of a scandal hotter than any runway. I just keep going over what Baker said, Ridge muttered, running a hand through his hair. A high-speed collision on the Pacific Coast Highway. No witnesses saw the body. Just the mangled wreckage of the vehicle and a confirmation from the responding officer that the victim, dressed in prison blues, mind you, was pronounced DOA. Steffi bristled, the relief she'd felt battling with a familiar wave of anxiety. Dad, please, let it go. The police confirmed it. Deputy Chief Baker confirmed it. Luna Nozawa is gone. That chapter is closed. It has to be. She reached for Finn's hand, seeking reassurance. Finn, you agree, don't you? The horror is over. Finn, his face etched with a complex mixture of dread and relief, squeezed her hand, but his eyes held doubt. I want to believe it, Steffi, truly. She was a monster, a danger to you, to Kelly, to everyone at Forrester. But she was also my daughter biologically, and she was Sheila's granddaughter. In our world, a villain with that bloodline doesn't just meet a decisive end in a traffic accident. That's the beauty of it, Doc, Ridge said, a grim smile playing on his lips. It's mundane. Too mundane for Luna. That's what makes me uneasy. She loved drama. She loved the theatrics. If she was truly dead, wouldn't she have done something more spectacular? Something that involved a cliff, a gun, or maybe a poorly maintained railing? Steffi sighed, pushing back her dark hair. You're letting your soap opera history taint reality, Dad. Maybe life just got in the way of her grand plan. She was escaping prison, desperate. She probably saw the headlights and panicked. It's over. We need to focus on moving forward, on putting the Spencer family back together after she ripped them apart. Finn looked at Ridge. But there's the detail about the clothes, Ridge. Baker mentioned the identity was initially confused because the woman they found was wearing the stolen clothes of the original victim, the young woman Luna, locked in the beach house shower. Mistaken identity in the chaos of a chase, Steffi dismissed with a wave. Luna shed the uniform. She swapped it. The police found a woman in the uniform, assumed it was her, and the car hit her. It's tragic for that poor girl, yes, but it confirms Luna's disappearance. She's officially dead, and the world is safer for it. Except the person killed was not Luna, Ridge said slowly, his eyes narrowing. Baker made it clear. The victim was Luna Nozawa. They used dental records, or whatever they could salvage, to confirm it was Luna. But the story they are telling the public is that the deceased was in prison clothes. Why the discrepancy? Why the secrecy? Something is rotten in Malibu, and I think it starts with Bill Spencer. Steffi's jaw tightened. Bill? Why would Bill get involved? She tormented his son, Will. She faked a pregnancy with Will's child. Bill would be dancing on her grave. Maybe, Ridge conceded, his voice dropping to a low growl. Or maybe Bill knew that the only way to protect his son, once and for all, was to give the devil an exit strategy. A spectacular, final, unquestionable exit that everyone would believe. Everyone except maybe the people who knew the truth. Finn watched the conversation, his mind racing. Luna's blood was in his veins. The darkness of Sheila, tempered by the desperation of a young woman who only wanted a family. He couldn't shake the feeling that she was a loose thread, dangling just out of sight, ready to unravel the fabric of their lives all over again. He didn't trust the silence. In Los Angeles, Silence was always the preamble to the most deafening shock. The deal with the devil. Scene: Bill Spencer's penthouse. Bill is alone, sipping a scotch, staring out at the illuminated city. The sound of the elevator door opening snaps him back. Katie walks in, her expression worried. "Bill, I needed to see you. I just spoke to Will. He's taking the news hard, even after everything she did. He feels guilt about the other girl, the one Luna locked away." Katie looked at him, searching his gaze. "How are you holding up? You gave her so much of your time, tried to save her from herself. You must feel a failure." Bill set his glass down, the ice clinking loudly in the vast, echoing space. "Failure? No, Katie. I feel regret. I regret that a young woman with so much potential went down the path of her grandmother. But I don't regret trying. I tried to show her a better way, a different destiny. In the end, Sheila's poison was simply too potent. So it's really over." Katie whispered, wrapping her arms around her chest. "It's over," Bill confirmed, his voice devoid of his usual swagger. "The threat to our family is gone. Will is safe. That's all that matters." Clink, clink. Bill's private phone rang, the sound muffled by his hand. He glanced at the caller ID, a blocked number. He excused himself, walking into the adjacent study. "It's done," Bill said into the receiver, his voice flat and commanding. "The payment was wired to the offshore account this morning. The official report is finalized. Fatal accident, body identification confirmed, case closed." A smooth, familiar voice answered, distorted by the static of a burner phone. "Excellent, Dollar Bill. You always were good at closing a deal. Don't push it, Baker. You gave the press the bare minimum. But you know as well as I do that she's not dead. She's gone. You confirmed the body was hers. That's perjury. You're risking your career, your life, everything, to give this monster a head start. It was the only way to get her out of the city and out of your hair, Bill. The prison transport was compromised. We couldn't hold her, not with her resources and her family connections. I owed you one, for that mess with the diamond heist a decade ago. Besides, as I told you, the body we identified was badly damaged, and the features, well, let's just say there was enough forensic evidence to satisfy a coroner who was eager to close the books on the notorious Luna Nozoa. Baker chuckled, a dry, grating sound. The paperwork is sealed. She is officially deceased. Let the Forresters and Logans toast to their peace. Bill clenched his jaw. Make sure she stays gone, Baker. If she surfaces, the deal is off, and you'll find yourself with a lot of unwanted attention from internal affairs. She won't surface. She has everything she needs now. A new identity, a passport, and a guarantee of protection, so long as she stays away from Los Angeles. Your son can finally breathe easy. Bill hung up, running a tired hand across his eyes. He had created a ghost. He had paid an exorbitant price to make Luna legally dead, enabling her escape into the shadows. He did it for Will. But as he returned to Katie, the city lights outside his window reflecting in his troubled eyes, he wondered if he had truly protected his son, or if he had simply unleashed a time bomb on the unsuspecting world. The architect of the afterlife. Scene: a secluded, luxurious villa high in the hills outside Monaco. The sun glints off the Mediterranean Sea. The interior is sparse, modern, and high-tech. Luna is reclining on a chaise lounge, a clean bandage visible beneath the elegant silk of her white dressing gown. "It was almost too easy," Luna said, taking a sip of the vintage champagne Remy poured her. She looked utterly unlike the deranged villain who had been dragged away in handcuffs weeks earlier. She was polished, serene, and terrifyingly calm. Remy, her loyal, slightly bewildered accomplice, nervously adjusted the curtains. "Almost too easy," Luna said, taking a sip of the vintage champagne Remy poured her. She looked utterly unlike the deranged villain who had been dragged away in handcuffs weeks earlier. She was polished, serene, and terrifyingly calm. Remy, her loyal, slightly bewildered accomplice, nervously adjusted the curtains. Easy? Luna, you were hit by a car. We had to swap the identity of that poor, oblivious tourist you cornered. She was wearing the prison uniform you ditched in the bushes. It was chaos. Controlled chaos, my sweet Remy, Luna corrected, smiling. Remember that little fashion design assignment I had, sketching out the perfect getaway outfit? It all came together, thanks to that sweet little beach sprite who just had to take a nude shower outside. She made the perfect patsy. Baker, bless his greedy little heart, was happy to confirm whatever bill Spencer paid him to confirm. You knew Bill would pay. Of course. Bill has two weaknesses, his ego and his son's. I terrorized Will. Bill couldn't stomach the idea of his son's life being perpetually tied to mine, even in prison. He decided to solve the Luna problem the only way a Spencer knows how, with enough cash to make the problem vanish permanently. He thinks he's saving Will by giving me a new life. Luna laughed, a chilling, high-pitched sound. He has no idea he just created a martyr. The secure door chimed, and Remy checked the monitor, his eyes widening. Luna, she's here. I thought she was in Los Angeles. She is never where they think she is, Luna murmured, rising to greet her visitor. Sheila Carter stepped into the room, impeccably dressed, her sharp eyes scanning the surroundings. She walked to Luna, examining the bandage on her arm. You have your grandmother's flair for the dramatic, child, Sheila said, almost proudly. But getting hit by a car? You're getting sloppy. I prefer poisoning or a classic, clean gunshot wound that leaves just enough doubt for a surprise return. The car was the final stroke of genius, Grandma, Luna countered, kissing Sheila on the cheek. It gave the public an answer they could process. Tragedy. A desperate criminal finally meets her fate. No lingering doubts, no search parties. They mourn the death of the intern and forget the existence of the villain. And what about your destiny? Sheila asked, sitting down. I hear Steffi is breathing easy. That Finn is trying to reconcile his guilt with his relief. They think they've won. Luna's eyes went dark, reflecting the azure Mediterranean with a predatory gleam. They haven't won anything. This is not an exit, Grandma. This is a recess. I needed the world to think I was destroyed so I could rebuild myself, not into the sweet little Luna Nozoa, but into something stronger, something they won't see coming. She paused, running a finger along the rim of her champagne glass. Bill, Spencer bought me a quiet life, a paradise. He wants me to stay here and be invisible. But I didn't escape just to drink rose on the Riviera. My new life begins when I take back what Steffi stole from me. My father's love, my place of Forrester, and my power. Steffi has always been too comfortable at the Cliff House. It's time I paid her a visit, don't you think? Just to show her that death is only a temporary setback for a Forrester Creations original. Sheila smiled, a genuine, terrifying smile that matched her granddaughter's intensity. Oh, Luna, you're going to be even better than I was. The unsettling calm. Scene, the Cliff House. Later that evening, Steffi and Liam are on the patio, the crashing waves providing a soothing soundtrack. The security system light is blinking green, all clear. Steffi leaned into Liam. I feel lighter than I have in months. I feel like I can finally let Kelly go to the beach without checking the windows first. Liam stroked her hair. She's gone, Steffi. The nightmare is over. I know it's hard to believe, but you can let go now. I want to. I really do, she admitted, though her eyes kept flickering to the dark shadows near the palm trees. But I keep remembering how she looked at me that last time. That desperate, calculating look. She wasn't finished, Liam. I know she wasn't. Liam rose and walked to the railing, looking over the dark ocean. She was finished the moment she let the darkness consume her. You, Finn, Ridge, you're the light in this family. You always win. Luna made a choice, and she paid the ultimate price. He returned, pulling her up. Come inside. Let's make the most of this peace. As they turned to go, Steffi's heel snagged on something small and metallic hidden near the edge of the stone patio. She bent down and picked it up. It was a small, enamel-painted butterfly pin. It was cheap, slightly tacky, and completely out of place at the elegant Cliff house. "What is this?" Steffi asked, turning the pin over in her palm. Liam shrugged. "A toy? Kelly's." "No, Kelly would never wear something like this. And look at the back." Steffi pointed to a small, almost invisible etched inscription on the metal. "Lunatic forever." Steffi's breath hitched. She remembered the pin. It was a gag gift Finn had given Luna when she was still a naive intern, before the darkness fully took hold. Luna had worn it once, pinned to a design sketch. She hadn't seen it since. "She was here," Steffi whispered, the sudden, paralyzing fear freezing her in place. "She was here, Liam, after the accident. She came back to leave a calling card." Liam grabbed the pin, his mind instantly racing to Bill's strange secrecy and Ridge's earlier suspicion. He looked out at the ocean, now seeming vast and menacing. He saw the smallest flicker of red light high up on the distant cliff face, a light that was too steady, too focused to be a star or a passing plane. It was an infrared lens. "Steffi, get inside. Now." They didn't see the figure watching them from the shadows of the adjacent hill. Luna Nozoa, shrouded in darkness, adjusted her infrared binoculars. The pin was the perfect touch. The panic on Steffi's face was the perfect dessert. She was alive. She was well. She was coming back. And the Forrester and Spencer families were about to learn that in the world of the bold and the beautiful, death was merely a necessary costume change for the ultimate villain. Luna's shadow melted into the night, the distant hum of the Pacific Coast Highway below providing the only witness to the shocking truth. The reckoning had just begun.